Emily Parker had exactly one meal left. It sat inside a white takeout box beneath the counter of the Maple Street diner. Half a roasted chicken breast, mashed potatoes, green beans, and a dinner roll that had gone slightly hard around the edges. It was not much, but it was supposed to be her dinner. And possibly her breakfast. The $20 bill in Emily's purse had already been promised to her landlord. Her checking account was nearly empty, and payday was still 3 days away. At 9:15 that night, Emily was wiping down the last empty booth when she noticed a small face pressed against the diner window. A little girl stood outside in a thin yellow sweater. She could not have been older than 8. One hand held a faded blue lunchbox. The other rested against the glass as she stared at the plates Emily was carrying toward the kitchen. Emily opened the door. "Are you lost, sweetheart?" The girl quickly stepped back. "No, ma'am." Her voice was soft and careful, as though she had learned that taking up too much space could make adults angry. "Where are your parents?" "My mom is close." The girl looked toward the dark bus station across the street. Emily followed her gaze. The station had closed an hour earlier. "Is she waiting for a bus?" The girl lowered her eyes. "She told me to stay with her. But then she got sick again." Emily set the plates down. "What do you mean, sick?" The girl's fingers tightened around the empty lunchbox. "She fell asleep on the floor. I shook her, but she wouldn't wake up. She does that sometimes. Then she wakes up and says she's okay." Emily's heart dropped. "Show me where she is." The girl hesitated. Her eyes moved past Emily to the kitchen. "Could I have something for her first? We'll get help for her. She'll be scared if strangers come." The little girl swallowed. "She hasn't eaten since yesterday. I thought maybe if she ate, she would wake up faster." Emily stared at her. The child was not asking for herself. She was hungry. Emily could see it in the way her eyes kept drifting toward the food. But she was asking for her mother. Emily stepped behind the counter, reached underneath it, and removed her takeout box. She placed it in front of the girl. "This is for both of you." The girl looked inside. Her lips parted at the sight of the chicken and mashed potatoes. "Is this leftover food?" "It was my dinner." The girl immediately pushed the box back. "I can't take your dinner." Emily gently returned it to her hands. "You can. And you will. But then what will you eat?" Emily smiled. "I work in a restaurant. I'm surrounded by food." It was not entirely true. Employees were allowed one discounted meal per shift, and Emily had already used hers. But the little girl did not need to know that. "Take a bite now," Emily said. "Then we're going to help your mom." The girl broke the dinner roll in half. Instead of eating both pieces, she placed one back in the box. "For Mama." Then she took the smallest bite possible. Emily had to look away. She did not notice the man sitting in the shadowed corner booth until he stood up. He had entered 20 minutes earlier wearing a dark coat over an expensive gray suit. He had ordered black coffee, taken one phone call, and said almost nothing. Emily had assumed he was a businessman whose car had broken down nearby. She had no idea he was Daniel Whitmore, the billionaire owner of Whitmore Industries. Daniel had returned to the town where his family's company had begun because the board was preparing to sell the abandoned Whitmore textile mill. He had expected to spend the night reviewing contracts. He had not expected to watch a waitress give away her last meal. "Did you say your mother is unconscious?" he asked. The girl moved closer to Emily. Daniel stopped several feet away so he would not frighten her. "We should call an ambulance." "No," the girl whispered. "Why not?" Because Mama said we can't let the Whitmore people find us. Daniel's face changed. Emily noticed it immediately. What did you say? He asked. The little girl looked at him. My mama said we have to stay away from the Whitmore family. Daniel stepped closer. What is your mother's name? The child hugged the lunchbox against her chest. Emily touched her shoulder. It's okay, sweetheart. The girl looked between them. Her name is Anna. Daniel stopped breathing. The coffee cup slipped from his hand and struck the floor, shattering beside his shoe. The girl flinched. Daniel did not move. His face had gone completely pale. Anna what? He whispered. The little girl answered with the name Daniel had not heard spoken inside his family for almost 10 years. Anna Whitmore. Daniel stared at her. Anna Whitmore was his younger sister. The sister who had been accused of stealing from their family company. The sister who had disappeared after telling Daniel that someone inside the company wanted her gone. The sister whose burned car had been found at the bottom of a ravine. The sister Daniel had believed was dead. His eyes dropped to the little girl's blue lunchbox. A silver chain hung from the broken zipper. At the end of the chain was half of a heart-shaped locket. Daniel had given the other half to Anna on her 12th birthday. He reached beneath his shirt and pulled out the matching piece he had carried for 28 years. The two halves were identical. Daniel's hand began to shake. Where is she? The girl pointed toward the dark bus station. Daniel ran. Emily grabbed her coat and followed with the child beside her. None of them saw the black sedan parked at the far end of the street. Inside it, a man lowered his phone after taking a photograph of Daniel and the little girl. He immediately sent the picture to Victor Hale, the chairman of Whitmore Industries. The message beneath it contained only 6 words. Daniel Whitmore has found Anna's child.
The bus station doors were locked. Emily led them around the side of the building, where a narrow service entrance had been left partly open. Mama found it, the girl explained. She said we would only stay until morning. Daniel pushed through the door. The waiting room was dark except for a flickering light above the ticket counter. They found Anna beside a row of plastic chairs. She was lying on her side with one arm wrapped around a worn canvas bag. Her face was thin, and strands of dark hair clung to her damp forehead. The takeout box fell from the little girl's hands. Mama! She dropped beside Anna and shook her shoulder. Emily knelt and checked Anna's breathing. She's alive. Daniel stopped several feet away. For nearly 10 years, he had imagined his sister's final moments. He had pictured her trapped in the burning car, found in the ravine. He had blamed himself for not answering her last phone call. Now Anna was lying in front of him. Older, weaker, but alive. Anna, he whispered. Her eyelids moved. When she opened her eyes, she looked first at her daughter, then at Emily. Finally, she saw Daniel. Fear spread across her face. No! She tried to sit up. Daniel stepped forward. Anna, it's me. Don't touch her. Her voice was weak, but the warning was unmistakable. Daniel stopped. Anna pulled the child against her chest. You can't take Lily. I'm not here to take anyone. You found us. Lily found Emily. I was at the diner. Anna looked at Emily. Emily held up both hands. I'm a waitress. Your daughter came looking for food. Anna's expression broke. She was supposed to stay beside me. She was trying to save you, Emily said. Lily opened the takeout box and held up the broken dinner roll. I saved you half. Anna closed her eyes. A tear slid down the side of her face. You were hungry too. I ate a bite. Emily turned away, pulled out her phone, and called for an ambulance. Anna heard her. No hospitals. You lost consciousness, Emily said. We can't afford it. Daniel looked at her. I'll pay for everything. Anna gave a bitter laugh. The sound became a cough. You think money makes you safe? I thought you were dead. You were supposed to. Daniel crouched several feet from her. Who did this? Anna looked toward the entrance, as if expecting someone to appear. "We have to leave. Not until a doctor sees you." I said no. Her face twisted with pain. One hand pressed against her chest. Emily recognized the signs. Her own mother had suffered from heart disease before she died. "Anna, listen to me. This isn't exhaustion. Something is wrong with your heart." Anna's breathing became shallow. Lily touched her cheek. "Mama." The fear in the child's voice ended the argument. Anna looked at Emily. "Stay with her." "I will. Promise." "I promise." By the time the paramedics arrived, Anna was barely conscious. They placed her on a stretcher. Lily tried to climb into the ambulance, but one of the paramedics blocked her. "One adult can come." Daniel stepped forward. Anna opened her eyes. "Not him." The word struck Daniel harder than any accusation. Emily took Lily's hand. "I'll ride with her." Daniel followed in his car. At St. Catherine's Hospital, Anna was taken into the emergency department, while Emily and Lily waited beneath harsh white lights. Daniel stood across the room, making phone calls. Within minutes, the hospital administrator appeared. A cardiologist was called in from home. A private room was prepared. Emily watched Daniel use his power with a few quiet sentences. It would have been easy to be impressed. Instead, she felt angry. Her mother had died waiting for specialists who never came. The rich did not have better bodies than everyone else. They simply had faster doors. Lily fell asleep with her head in Emily's lap. The blue lunchbox rested beneath the chair. Daniel finally sat down across from them. "Thank you for helping her." Emily kept her voice low. "Your sister doesn't seem happy to see you. I don't know why. You don't know why someone disappeared for 10 years and begged you not to take her child?" Daniel looked toward the emergency room doors. "She was accused of stealing $2 million from our employee pension fund." "Did she do it?" "At the time, the evidence said she did." "That's not what I asked." Daniel's jaw tightened. "I believe she did." Emily looked at the sleeping child. "And now?" "Now I know nothing." A nurse entered the waiting room. "Mr. Whitmore." Daniel stood. "Your sister has a serious heart condition. She needs surgery. Without it, another episode could be fatal." Lily woke at the word fatal. Emily pulled her close. "When?" Daniel asked. "As soon as we stabilize her." The nurse handed him a small plastic bag containing Anna's belongings. Inside was a cracked phone, a wedding ring on a cord, several bus tickets, and a bundle of old envelopes held together with string. Daniel removed the first envelope. His own name was written across the front. Daniel Whitmore. Private and confidential. The envelope had never been opened. Across it, someone had stamped, "Return to sender. Do not contact again." At the bottom was a handwritten note. The writing appeared to be Daniel's. "Anna, you're no longer part of this family." Daniel stared at the words. Emily watched the blood drain from his face for the second time that night. "I never wrote this," he said. From inside Anna's room, a weak voice answered. "Yes, you did." They turned. Anna stood in the doorway, gripping an 4-pole. Her eyes stayed fixed on Daniel. "You wrote it 27 times. Daniel moved toward Anna, but a nurse stepped between them. "You need to be in bed. I need him to leave." Anna's voice was weak, yet every word carried years of pain. Daniel held up the envelope. "I did not write this." "You expect me to believe that now?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because you're finally looking at my face instead of a financial report." Lily ran to her mother. Anna wrapped one arm around her and closed her eyes as if the child's weight was the only thing keeping her upright. Emily brought over a wheelchair. "Sit before you fall." Anna looked at her, then lowered herself into it. Daniel placed the bundle of letters on the table. "What are these?" "My mistakes. Anna, I wrote to you after I left. I told you where I was. I told you I was pregnant. I beg you to check the pension accounts yourself." Daniel's eyes moved to Lily. "You knew about her?" "No, I never received any letters." Anna looked at him with open disbelief. "Everyone came back with a message from you." "I didn't send them back. The first note said I had embarrassed the family. The second said you would have me arrested if I returned. The last said you would take my baby because a thief wasn't fit to be a mother." Lily looked up. My mama isn't a thief. Daniel's voice cracked. I know. Anna laughed bitterly. You know now. Daniel sat down. For the first time since Emily had seen him, he did not look powerful. He looked like a man realizing that 10 years of his life had been built on someone else's lie. Why did you disappear? He asked. I didn't disappear. I ran. From whom? Anna glanced toward the nurse's station. Not here. Daniel followed her gaze. Are you still in danger? I don't know. Emily remembered the fear on Anna's face at the bus station. She also remembered something else. Daniel had not called anyone before they found Anna. Yet while they were in the ambulance, his phone had rung 3 times. The same name had appeared each time. Victor Hale, Daniel's uncle and chairman. How did your family know you were at the hospital? Emily asked. Daniel turned to her. What? Someone kept calling you while we were coming here. My uncle tracks my schedule. Did he know you found Anna? I sent him a message from the car. What did you tell him? That I needed the company's legal records concerning Anna's case. Emily folded her arms. And what did he say? Daniel hesitated. He told me not to believe anything she said. Anna's entire body went still. When? 20 minutes ago. Anna looked at Emily. Emily understood immediately. Daniel had not told Victor where Anna had been found. He had only asked for records. Yet Victor had reacted as though he already knew she was alive. Did you mention Lily? Emily asked. No. Did he? Daniel replayed the conversation in his head. His expression darkened. He asked whether the child looked like Anna. Silence settled over the room. Anna tightened her arms around Lily. He knows. Daniel rose and stepped toward the hallway. I'll call him. Anna grabbed his sleeve. No. It was the first time she had touched him. Daniel looked down at her hand. Victor controls the company's security team, she said. He controlled the investigation. He controlled the lawyers who accused me. You cannot warn him before you know what he did. Daniel slowly lowered his phone. What did he do? Anna looked at Lily. Not in front of her. Emily took the child's hand. Come with me. We'll find some hot chocolate. I don't want to leave Mama. Anna kissed her forehead. You'll be right outside. Emily and Lily walked to a vending area down the hall. Lily climbed onto a chair while Emily bought a cup of cocoa with the last $2 in her pocket. Did your mom ever talk about her family? Emily asked. She said she had a brother who used to make paper boats. Emily looked through the glass wall toward Daniel. He put them in the bathtub during storms. Lily continued. Mama said she wasn't afraid when he was there. Did she tell you his name? Danny. Inside the room, Anna opened the cracked canvas bag and removed a small brass key. She placed it in Daniel's palm. Safe deposit box 314. First National Bank. What's inside? The reason Victor wanted me gone. Anna explained that 10 years earlier, she had worked in the charitable division of Whitmore Industries. During a routine audit, she discovered that money was being removed from the employee retirement fund and transferred through several shell companies. The authorization codes belonged to Victor. Anna confronted him privately. Victor told her the transfers were temporary and necessary to keep the company alive during a financial crisis. He said thousands of employees would lose their jobs if I exposed him, Anna said. Why didn't you come to me? I tried. Daniel looked away. Anna had tried to speak to him during the week he was negotiating the largest acquisition in the company's history. He remembered telling his assistant not to interrupt him with family drama. I told Victor the first was going to the authorities, Anna continued. 2 days later, accounting records appeared showing that I had transferred the money. Your lawyers questioned me for 11 hours. You ran before the police could arrest you. Victor came to my apartment that night. He knew I was pregnant. Daniel looked at Lily. He said if I stayed, he would make sure my child was born in prison. If I left and kept quiet, the investigation would end. I believed you would eventually look deeper. But I didn't. No. Daniel closed his fingers around the brass key. What happened to your car? Victor told me to leave it near the old bridge. He said someone would return it after I crossed the state line. The car was pushed into the ravine and burned. I saw that on the news. That was when I understood. He didn't only want me gone. He wanted everyone to believe I was dead. Daniel turned toward the window. For years, Victor had been more than his uncle. After Daniel and Anna's parents died, Victor had helped raise them. He had taught Daniel how to run the company. He had stood beside him at Anna's empty funeral. Daniel remembered Victor placing a hand on his shoulder and saying, "You couldn't have saved her." Now Daniel wondered whether Victor had been comforting him or silencing his guilt. The door opened. Emily returned with Lily. Anna quickly hid the key. Emily noticed but said nothing. Lily carried the hot chocolate toward her mother. "I saved you half." Anna smiled for the first time. Daniel watched them share the paper cup. Then his phone rang. "Victor Hale." Daniel answered without speaking. Victor's voice filled the silence. "Daniel, listen carefully. Anna is unstable. She has spent 10 years running from criminal charges. Do not let emotion destroy everything we built." Daniel stared at his sister. "How did you know she had a daughter?" There was a pause. Then Victor calmly answered, "Because I have been searching for them since the day Anna disappeared." Daniel ended the call. His hand remained wrapped around the phone. Anna watched his face. "He admitted it. He said he was searching for you. He was making sure I stayed silent." Daniel looked at Emily. "Stay with them." Emily shook her head. "You're not going alone. This is a family matter." "No. This is a frightened mother, a sick woman, and a child who crossed a street looking for food. It stopped being private the moment your family's decisions put them in that bus station." Daniel was not used to being challenged. His executives agreed with him before he finished speaking. Lawyers softened bad news. Employees watched his expression before deciding what they believed. Emily did none of that. She looked at him as though his money had no authority over the truth. Anna removed the brass key again. "Take her." Daniel frowned. "You trust someone you met an hour ago more than me." Anna looked at Emily. She gave Lily her food when she had nothing to gain. The answer silenced him. Daniel arranged for 2 off-duty police officers to remain outside Anna's room. He did not use company security. Then he and Emily drove to First National Bank. It was nearly midnight, but Daniel persuaded the bank president to open the building. Box 314 was registered under the name and read. The brass key fit. Inside the narrow metal box were 3 items: a red accounting ledger, a small digital recorder, and a sealed envelope addressed to Daniel. The handwriting belonged to Anna. Daniel opened the ledger first. Page after page contained dates, account numbers, transfer codes, and the names of shell companies. Several entries were marked with Victor's initials. Emily pointed to one company, Hale Consulting. Daniel nodded. It was dissolved 9 years ago. Who owned it? Victor's wife. Daniel's breathing became heavier as he turned the pages. The stolen amount was not $2 million. It was more than $43 million. Money taken from factory workers, drivers, cleaners, machinists, and warehouse employees. Some of those people had lost homes after their retirement benefits disappeared. Daniel had believed the losses came from the financial crisis. Now he was holding proof that his own company chairman had stolen their future. Emily picked up the recorder. "Does it work?" Daniel pressed play. Static filled the room. Then Victor's younger voice emerged. "You don't understand what's at stake, Anna." Anna answered, "I understand that you stole from people who trusted us. I protected this company. You protected yourself." A chair scraped across the recording. Victor's voice became colder. "You are pregnant. Think carefully about where you want that child to be born." Daniel froze the recording. Emily looked at him. "Keep going." He pressed play again. "If you disappear quietly, the charges against you will remain inactive. If you speak to Daniel, I will make sure the police find enough evidence to bury you. My brother will believe me. Your brother believes numbers. I control the numbers." The recording ended. Daniel lowered the device. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Then Daniel placed both hands against the metal table. "I'll let him do this." Emily did not comfort him. "You trusted the wrong person. I abandoned my sister." "Yes." He looked at her, surprised by the bluntness. Emily continued, "But feeling guilty won't repair anything. What you do next might." Daniel opened the envelope. Inside was a letter Anna had written shortly before disappearing. Danny, I know you are angry, but I need you to remember who I was before Victor showed you those accounts. I'm still the girl who followed you into the lake because you promised you would not let me drown. I'm still your sister. I did not take that money. I found out today that I'm going to have a little girl. I want her to know her uncle. I want her to hear the story about the paper boats and the storm. Please look at the records yourself. Please believe that you know me better than a spreadsheet. Anna. Daniel read the final line twice. Then he sat down. Emily saw tears gather in his eyes, but he quickly wiped them away. My mother used to make us paper boats, he said. After she died, Anna became afraid of storms. I filled the bathtub and floated paper boats in it until she stopped crying. She remembered. I forgot. No, you buried it. Daniel folded the letter carefully. His phone vibrated. A message from Victor appeared. Return to the hospital immediately. Anna has been formally reported to the police. Daniel called the officers outside Anna's room. Neither answered. He and Emily ran from the bank. When they reached the hospital, Lily was standing in the hallway screaming. 2 police officers were placing Anna in handcuffs beside her bed. She needs heart surgery, Emily shouted. One officer held up the warrant. Anna Whitmore is under arrest for felony theft and unlawful flight. Daniel stepped between the officer and his sister. That warrant is based on false evidence. You can discuss it with the district attorney. Anna swayed. Emily caught her before she fell. Lily grabbed Daniel's coat. Make them stop. Daniel looked down at his niece. 10 years earlier, Anna had expected him to protect her. He had chosen the company instead. Now he had another chance. Daniel took the red ledger from beneath his coat and held it up where everyone could see. My name is Daniel Whitmore. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Whitmore Industries, and I am formally accusing our chairman, Victor Hale, of stealing $43 million from our employees and framing my sister. The officers hesitated. Daniel's phone rang again. This time, it was a member of the company's board. Daniel answered. Daniel, Victor has called an emergency meeting. If you continue making these accusations, the board will remove you as CEO by morning. Daniel looked at Anna in handcuffs, then at Lily, then at Emily. The board member continued. If Whitmore Industries falls, 800 employees in this town lose their jobs. Decide who you intend to save. By sunrise, the hospital had become a battlefield. Lawyers arrived first, then reporters, then company officials carrying folders and speaking in whispers. Victor Hale appeared at 6:30 in a charcoal suit, looking calm enough to attend a charity dinner. He stopped when he saw Anna. For one brief moment, his control slipped. Anna saw fear in his eyes. Then he smiled. My dear girl, don't call me that. Victor looked at the handcuffs attached to her hospital bed. This is heartbreaking. You should know. Daniel stepped between them. Get out. Victor lowered his voice. You have no idea what you're doing. I heard the recording. Victor's smile disappeared. Recordings can be manipulated. The ledger cannot. A notebook filled with numbers proves nothing. It proves enough to begin an investigation. Victor looked toward the reporters gathering beyond the glass doors. An investigation will freeze our credit lines. The mill sale will collapse. Payroll will stop. Hundreds of families will suffer because you chose to believe a fugitive. Emily stood near Lily's chair. She was running from you. Victor looked at her for the first time. And you are. The waitress who fed your grandniece while your family was deciding which reputation mattered more than her life. Daniel almost smiled. Victor did not. He stepped closer to Emily. People like you rarely understand what it takes to protect an institution. Emily met his eyes. People like me are the institution. We cook the food, clean the floors, drive the trucks, and lose our pensions while men like you call it protection. Victor turned away from her. Anna's cardiologist entered the room. We need to perform surgery today. The officer guarding Anna shook his head. She is in custody. She could die without it. The officer called the district attorney. While they argued, a woman from Child Protective Services arrived. Lily moved behind Emily. The caseworker introduced herself gently. Until your mother's legal situation is resolved, we need to arrange temporary care. No. Lily wrapped both arms around Emily's waist. I'm staying with her. Anna struggled against the handcuff. Please don't take my daughter. The heart monitor began to beat faster. Emily crouched in front of Lily. Listen to me. Your mom needs to stay calm. Are they putting me in jail too? No. Then why can't I stay? Emily had no answer that would make sense to a child. Daniel approached the caseworker. She's my niece. She can stay with me. The woman consulted her paperwork. You have no established relationship with the child, and there are serious allegations involving your family. I have a home, staff, and every resource she could need. This is not about resources. The sentence stopped him. For years, Daniel had solved problems with resources. Private doctors, private schools, private planes. Money opened nearly every door. But Lily did not need the richest available adult. She needed someone she trusted. Lily tightened her grip on Emily. I want her. The caseworker looked at Emily. Are you a relative? No. Do you have a foster license? No. Then I cannot place her with you. Anna began to cry, not loudly. Her tears fell in silence as she watched another stranger prepare to take her child. Emily remembered being 17, standing in a hospital hallway while a billing clerk explained why her mother could not receive an experimental procedure. She remembered adults speaking in calm voices while her entire life was being destroyed. Give me 2 hours, Emily said. The caseworker frowned. For what? To find someone who qualifies. Emily turned to Daniel. Who raised you after your parents died? Victor was our guardian. Anyone else? Daniel thought. Our housekeeper, Nora Ellis. She lived with us for 20 years. Is she still alive? Yes. She lives outside town. Does Lily know her? No. But Anna does. Anna lifted her head. Nora believed me. Emily looked at Daniel. Find her. Daniel sent his driver. At 7:45, the board meeting began by video conference in a private hospital room. Victor sat at one end of the table. Daniel sat opposite him. 12 board members appeared on the screen. Emily remained outside with Lily and Anna. The board's lead director spoke first. Daniel, Victor claims you were emotionally compromised. My sister is alive after our company falsely accused her. That does not change our financial exposure. Daniel placed copies of the ledger and recording transcript on the table. Victor leaned back. Unverified material supplied by an accused thief. Daniel stared at the man who had raised him. Why did you know Anna had a daughter? I hired investigators after she fled. Why? To recover the stolen money. You knew she was alive while I buried an empty coffin. Victor's face remained still. I protected you from false hope. Daniel looked at the board members. If you continue supporting him, every one of you will be named in the investigation. Victor pressed a button. A financial presentation appeared on the screen. If these allegations become public, 3 banks will suspend financing. The mill sale will fail. The company may enter bankruptcy within weeks. Daniel knew the figures were probably accurate. Victor had designed the trap carefully. To expose him, Daniel might destroy the company. To protect the company, Daniel would have to abandon Anna again. Outside, Anna held Emily's hand. Tell him to stop. Emily looked at her. What? If the company fails, all those people lose their jobs. Victor will say it was because of me. You didn't steal from them, but they'll still suffer. Anna looked at Lily. I spent 10 years trying to protect one child. I can't destroy hundreds of families now. She asked Emily to bring Daniel outside. When Daniel arrived, Anna spoke before he could sit down. Choose the workers. I'm choosing the truth. You can't pay 800 families with truth. I can replace the missing pension money. $43 million? I'll use my personal assets. Victor's voice came through the open conference room door. The company's liabilities are much larger than the stolen fund. He would have to surrender control of nearly everything he owns. Anna looked at her brother. Don't do that. Daniel knelt beside her bed. I spent 10 years owning everything except the ability to sleep at night. This isn't only about us. No, it's about every person whose retirement he stole while I signed annual reports saying the fund was safe. Anna's eyes filled. I don't want you to lose your life because of me. You are my life. The words broke through the anger between them. Anna reached for his hand. Their fingers had barely touched when the heart monitor screamed. Anna's body jerked. A nurse shouted for everyone to move back. Lily screamed as doctors rushed into the room. Emily pulled the child into the hallway. Daniel stood frozen while a medical team pressed paddles against his sister's chest. Clear. Anna's body lifted from the bed. The monitor remained flat. Lily buried her face against Emily. Please don't let my mama die. Inside the room, the doctor called for another charge. Daniel pressed one hand against the glass. He had found his sister alive. Now, before he could ask her forgiveness, he was watching her disappear again. Anna's heart started beating after the third shock. She was taken directly into surgery. The police removed her handcuffs after the district attorney agreed to suspend the warrant pending review of the new evidence. Lily sat in the waiting room, wearing Emily's diner coat over her yellow sweater. She held the two halves of the silver locket in her palm. Daniel had given her his piece before Anna was taken away. They fit, Lily whispered. Emily sat beside her. They always did. Then why were they apart? Emily looked through the glass at Daniel. Sometimes people believe the wrong thing. Then too much time passes, and they become afraid they can't fix it. Can they? They can start. Nora Ellis arrived just before noon. She was 73, with silver hair and a wooden cane. The moment she saw Lily, she covered her mouth. You have Anna's eyes. Lily looked at Daniel. Is she family? Nora answered before he could. I should have been. Anna had named Nora as a possible guardian in an old handwritten document that remained inside her canvas bag. Child Protective Services agreed to let Lily remain with Nora during the investigation. Nora refused to leave the hospital. She sat beside Lily and told her stories about Anna as a child. How she hid stray kittens in the laundry room. How she once cut the flowers from Victor's prize rose bushes and gave them to every employee working on Christmas Eve. How Daniel built paper boats during thunderstorms. As Nora spoke, former Whitmore employees began appearing at the hospital. Word of the accusations had spread through town. Some came angry. Some came frightened. Most came because Emily had called them. She had returned to the diner long enough to speak with her manager and the morning regulars. Many had worked at the old textile mill. Emily asked a simple question. What do you remember about the pension investigation? A retired payroll clerk named Susan Bell remembered receiving instructions to alter employee account balances. A former security guard remembered driving Anna's car to the old bridge on Victor's orders. A mailroom supervisor remembered being told that all letters addressed to Daniel from Anna Whitmore must be delivered directly to Victor's office. No single memory proved the entire case. Together, they formed a wall around the truth. Emily wrote every name and phone number on the back of diner order sheets. Daniel watched her work. You found more witnesses in 2 hours than our lawyers found in 10 years. Your lawyers worked for Victor. They worked for me. No, they worked for the person who gave them instructions. You were too busy to notice who that was. Daniel accepted the criticism. He no longer defended himself. A reporter approached Emily outside the waiting room. Were you paid by Daniel Whitmore to produce these witnesses? No. Are you romantically involved with him? Emily almost laughed. I met him last night. The reporter pointed toward her worn shoes. Mr. Hale's office released information showing that you owe several months of rent and have significant medical debt. Are you expecting financial compensation? Emily's face burned. Victor had investigated her. He had turned her poverty into evidence against her. Daniel walked toward the cameras. Ask me your questions. Victor appeared on the television screen mounted above the waiting area. He was holding a press conference at company headquarters. This is an attempted financial coup, he told reporters. Daniel Whitmore is being manipulated by a convicted fugitive and a financially desperate waitress. Emily stared at the screen. Lily reached for her hand. Daniel stepped in front of the cameras outside the hospital. Emily Parker has asked me for nothing. A reporter shouted, "Did you offer her money?" "Yes." Emily turned toward him. Daniel continued. "She refused it. Last night, she gave away the only meal she had to a hungry child. This morning, she found the employees my company failed to hear. Her financial situation does not weaken her credibility. It exposes the kind of world men like Victor Hale have spent years exploiting." The hallway became silent. Emily looked down. No one had ever defended her poverty without making her sound helpless. Daniel faced the cameras. "Victor is correct about one thing. Telling the truth may cost me control of Whitmore Industries." His attorney tried to interrupt him. Daniel raised a hand. "I am transferring enough of my personal holdings to guarantee every employee pension and the next 6 months of payroll. If the board removes me, the workers will still be paid." Reporters began shouting questions. Victor's press conference ended abruptly. Daniel's chief financial officer pulled him aside. "That transfer will cost you most of your liquid assets. I know. You may lose the company. I know." Emily approached Daniel after the cameras moved away. "Anna told you not to sacrifice everything." "I'm not doing it for Anna alone. What happens to you?" Daniel looked through the operating room doors. "For the first time in years, I think I'll be able to look at myself." The surgeon entered 3 hours later. Daniel, Emily, Lily, and Nora stood together. "The surgery was difficult," the doctor said, "but Anna made it through." Lily began to cry. Daniel lifted her into his arms. She resisted for only a second. Then she wrapped both arms around his neck. "Is Mama coming back?" "Yes," Daniel whispered. "She's coming back." Behind them, 2 state investigators entered the hallway. They approached Daniel. "We located records connected to the accounts in Anna's ledger. We have enough to begin issuing warrants." "Victor, he left company headquarters 20 minutes ago." Daniel looked toward the elevators. At that exact moment, Nora's phone rang. She answered, listened, and turned pale. "It's the house alarm." Daniel stepped closer. "What happened?" Nora looked at Lily. "Someone just broke into my house." Anna's original letters and the final copy of Victor's recorded threat were hidden inside Nora's bedroom. And Victor knew it. Daniel, Emily, and the investigators reached Nora's house within 15 minutes. The front door had been forced open. Drawers had been emptied across the floor. Photographs lay broken beneath the living room window. A man was standing inside Nora's bedroom when police entered. He worked for Whitmore Corporate Security. In his hand was a metal cash box containing Anna's original letters. The security officer surrendered immediately. He claimed Victor had ordered him to recover stolen company documents. That order led investigators to Victor's private airport hangar. Victor was found inside his plane with 2 suitcases, several passports, and encrypted financial drives. By evening, he was sitting in an interview room. Daniel watched through the glass as investigators placed the red ledger, Anna's recording, the returned letters, and the testimony of former employees in front of him. Victor remained silent for nearly an hour. Then Daniel entered. "You should not be here," Victor said. "I wanted to hear you explain it. I saved your father's company. You stole from the people who built it. The company was collapsing. Banks refused to lend. Your father was dead. You were inexperienced." Anna was emotional. She was right. She was willing to expose us and destroy thousands of livelihoods. "So you framed her. I bought time. You threatened her unborn child." Victor leaned forward. "You think the world rewards clean hands? Every fortune has blood beneath it. I made the decisions you were too weak to make." Daniel placed Anna's unopened letter on the table. "You made me believe my sister died hating me. I made you into the man capable of leading Whitmore Industries. No, you made me into a man who valued an institution more than a human being." Victor looked almost disappointed. "And now a waitress has convinced you to throw it all away." Daniel shook his head. She reminded me that the company was already gone. All that remained was a building with our name on it. Victor glanced toward the mirror glass. What do you expect me to say? That I regret it. I don't care whether you regret it. For the first time, Daniel understood that justice did not require Victor's apology. It required the truth. Daniel stood. Victor's voice followed him. Your sister will never forgive you. You chose me over her. Daniel stopped at the door. She may not forgive me. He looked back. But I will spend the rest of my life becoming someone worthy of it. Victor was charged with fraud, theft, obstruction of justice, witness intimidation, and conspiracy. Several executives who had helped conceal the transfers were also arrested. The board voted to remove Victor as chairman. Then, in a surprise decision, they asked Daniel to remain as chief executive. He refused unless the company accepted 3 conditions. Every stolen pension dollar would be restored. An independent employee council would receive permanent oversight authority. And Anna Whitmore would be publicly cleared of every accusation. The board agreed. 2 days later, Anna woke. Daniel sat beside her bed with Lily sleeping against his chest. Emily stood near the window. Anna's eyes opened slowly. She saw her daughter first. Then Daniel. Did they take her? No. Victor. He can't hurt you anymore. Anna looked at Emily. She stayed. Your daughter didn't give me much choice, Emily said. Lily woke and climbed carefully on a bed. Mama. Anna held her as tightly as her healing chest allowed. Daniel rose to give them space. Wait, Anna said. He stopped. She looked at the matching locket pieces around Lily's neck. You kept yours. Every day. Even when you thought I stole from you. Yes. Why? Because some part of me knew the numbers did not feel like you. Anna's eyes hardened. But you believed them anyway. I did. Daniel did not offer an excuse. I cannot return the years you lost. I cannot erase what Lily endured. I cannot ask you to forgive me because I finally learned the truth. He placed the 27 returned letters beside her bed. But I will answer every one of these, even if it takes the rest of my life. Anna looked at the envelopes. Her anger did not disappear. Neither did her pain. But something inside her softened enough to let hope enter. You can start with the first one, she said. Daniel opened it. The letter described Anna's first night after leaving home. She had slept in her car, terrified and pregnant. Daniel read it aloud. When his voice broke, Emily continued for him. They read 3 letters that afternoon. In the third, Anna had written about feeling Lily kick for the first time. Daniel cried openly. Lily wiped his cheek with the corner of her blanket. Don't be sad, Uncle Danny. He looked at Anna. The name struck both of them. No one had called him Uncle Danny before. Anna reached across the bed. Daniel took her hand. Their relationship was not repaired in one moment. It cannot be. But for the first time in 10 years, they were no longer moving farther apart. That evening, Daniel found Emily near the hospital exit. She was removing her diner apron from her bag. You're going to work? My shift started 20 minutes ago. You haven't slept. My landlord still expects rent. Daniel took out his wallet. Emily raised one finger. Don't. I was going to offer you a ride. She studied his face. You really were? No. Emily almost smiled. Daniel put the wallet away. What can I do that won't insult you? Make sure those workers get their pensions. I will. Make sure Anna gets to choose what happens next. I will. And buy Lily a proper dinner. Daniel looked toward the hospital room. What about you? Emily opened the exit door. I'll eat at work. Daniel followed her into the hallway. That answer started this entire problem. 1 year later, the abandoned Whitmore textile mill reopened. Not as a factory. The largest section became a worker-owned training center offering apprenticeships, financial counseling, and legal support to families affected by the pension theft. Anna served on its oversight board. She refused the title Daniel originally offered her. I don't want an office, she said. I want a vote. Daniel gave her one. Every former employee received the retirement money they had lost with interest. Some accepted Daniel's apology. Others did not. He learned to respect both responses. Victor Hale pleaded guilty after 3 executives agreed to testify against him. During sentencing, his attorney argued that Victor had originally moved the money to protect the company during a crisis. The judge acknowledged that motive. Then she reminded him that fear did not turn theft into leadership or intimidation into love. Victor received 12 years in federal prison. Anna attended the hearing but said nothing. She had spent too many years allowing Victor to control her life. She would not give him another emotional moment to keep. Lily started 3rd grade. On the first day, she carried the same blue lunchbox. Emily had repaired the zipper. Inside was a chicken sandwich, apple slices, 2 cookies, and a note from Anna. Always save room for hope. The silver locket hung around Lily's neck, its 2 halves joined together. Anna's health slowly improved. Some days were harder than others. She still woke from dreams in which police were outside her door. She still checked the locks twice. Daniel never told her to forget. He listened. He answered all 27 letters. In one response, he admitted that he had ignored Anna's warning because believing Victor was easier than questioning the company that defined him. In another, he wrote about the empty funeral. In the last, he asked whether they could build something new without pretending the past had not happened. Anna answered with 1 sentence. Bring paper. Lily is afraid of storms. The next time thunder shook the windows, Daniel filled Anna's bathtub with water and taught Lily to fold paper boats. Anna watched from the doorway. For the first time in years, a storm entered her home without bringing fear with it. Emily's life changed too. Daniel paid none of her debts. She would not allow it. Instead, he invested in a business plan she had written during breaks at the diner. Emily opened a small community restaurant across from the new training center. The sign above the door read, "The last plate." Beneath it, smaller words said, "No one leaves hungry." Customers who could afford their meals paid regular prices. Anyone struggling could eat from a daily menu funded through suspended meal donations. Emily owned the restaurant. Daniel held no controlling interest. That had been her condition. On opening morning, the first customer was a retired mill worker named George. He ordered eggs and coffee, then paid for 2 extra breakfasts. "For whoever comes after me," he said. By lunchtime, 19 meals had been suspended. By dinner, every table was full. Anna worked near the register, though Emily repeatedly reminded her that board members were not supposed to carry plates. Lily drew paper boats on the children's menus. Nora sat in her favorite booth and corrected anyone who called her a guest. "I'm family," she said. Daniel arrived after 7. He wore no suit. He carried a white takeout box. Emily was wiping the counter when he placed it in front of her. "What is this?" "Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, and a dinner roll." Emily looked at him. "You remembered." "I remember everything about that night." She opened the box. There were 2 servings inside. Daniel sat on the stool across from her. "You gave away your last meal to a child you didn't know. She needed it. You followed her into a dark bus station. Her mother needed help. You challenged a billionaire, uncovered witnesses his lawyers missed, and stood beside a family that had done nothing for you." Emily leaned against the counter. "Are you giving a speech?" "I practiced one." "Don't." Daniel smiled. "All right." He removed a folded paper boat from his pocket and placed it beside the box. Emily touched its edge. "What's this for?" "Lily says every family member needs one." Emily looked across the restaurant. Anna was laughing as Lily balanced a spoon on her nose. Nora was arguing with George over who had paid for more suspended meals. People who had once lost everything inside a Whitmore building were now eating together inside something new. Emily looked back at Daniel. "Is this your way of calling me family?" "It's my way of asking whether there might eventually be room for me in yours." Emily studied him. During the past year, Daniel had never pressured her. He had shown up. He washed dishes during the restaurant's first trial night. He drove Anna to medical appointments. He attended employee council meetings and remained silent until the workers had finished speaking. He had not become a perfect man. He had become a present one. Emily divided the food between 2 plates. "There's room tonight." Daniel smiled. "That's enough." They ate at the counter after closing. No photographers, no company lawyers, no speeches, just 2 people sharing the meal that had brought their lives together. Later, Emily found Lily asleep in a booth with her head in Anna's lap. The repaired blue lunchbox sat beside them. Anna looked around the restaurant. "You know what I thought when Lily told me a waitress had given her dinner?" "What?" "I thought no one gives away their last meal unless they understand what hunger feels like." Emily sat opposite her. Most people understand something when they slow down long enough to see it. Anna looked toward Daniel. He spent years moving too fast. He's learning. Do you trust him? Emily considered the question. "I trust what he does more than what he promises." Anna nodded. "That's how it should be." Daniel carried Lily to the car. Before leaving, the child woke just enough to reach into her lunchbox. She pulled out a paper boat and handed it to Emily. "This one is yours." Emily held it carefully. Written across one side in purple crayon were 4 words. "Thank you for seeing me." Emily looked at the little girl who had once stood outside a diner window, too hungry to ask for herself. Then she looked at Anna, who had survived 10 years of fear. At Daniel, who had learned that power meant nothing when it was used to protect the wrong things. And at the restaurant filled with prepaid meals from people who might never meet the strangers they would feed. Emily placed the boat beside the register. Years later, customers would still ask why it was there. She never told them the entire story. She only said it was a reminder. A person's life rarely changes when someone makes a grand promise. It changes when someone notices the empty lunchbox, when someone questions the convenient lie, when someone offers a chair, opens a door, or divides one meal into 2. Victor Hale had controlled millions of dollars and believed that made him powerful. Emily Parker had possessed 1 plate of food. She gave it away. In the end, that single act brought a missing woman home, reunited a broken family, restored the futures of hundreds of workers, and reminded a man who owned nearly everything that the most valuable things in life could never be purchased. They could only be recognized. And sometimes the person with the least to give is the one who gives the thing that matters most.